Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you?
Doing good.
There's a
We're
bit of an
playing.
echo. Is that on my line or yours?
We're in the same room, but it's echoing.
Okay. Is it a big room? Is
For
that
the
what
two
is
of
that?
us, yeah.
Okay. Were you so one of the things that because we're going to post this recording up is we're going to also be providing a QR code that's going to allow people to literally just take a picture of the QR code and easily become members. So those are some of the things that we're going to be rolling out as well. And which I think is, I mean, this is going to be a fantastic community, trailblazing tribe. I think it's going to be the next big thing, and it's, I guess the biggest thing too is with Trailblazing Tribe is really wanting to teach people, number one, I would say, about mindset. And I know a lot of us, when we think, oh, I'm going to go and do real estate and I've got to go look at a property and I've got to, do all of this. And that is true. However, it's starting off with mindset. And I really believe that we've got to get our minds right. And the one exercise that I would invite you to do is writing down on a piece of paper right now or on your phone or whatever, wherever you want to put it or in your mind, is writing down how much money do you want to make per month? And I just want you to write down how much money do you want to make per month, or how many properties do you want to own in a year? Whatever number that is, just to write that down. And then what I want to invite you to do is ask yourself, okay, how do you feel about that number? Do you feel that it's attainable? Do you feel that, you know what? Yeah, I believe I can pull that off. I believe I can make that happen. I'm comfortable. And now what I invite you to do is take that same number and I want you to double it. So now as you're looking at how many properties you want to own in a year, or how much money you want to make a month, and you're looking at that, now that you've 2x that number and you kind of go, well, wait a minute, I was already dreaming big the first time, but I could get it, and now you've asked me to 2x, and now I'm looking at the piece of paper or my notes and I'm going like, wow, that's a little high. And maybe maybe you're feeling like, yeah, you know what? Like it's going to take a stretch. I might have to work a little bit longer. I might have to, hire a couple more people. I might have to, I might have to get a coach. I might have to add something to my agenda. I may have to get my sleep in order so that I can get up earlier in the morning and get a head start in the day. So as you're looking now that you've 2x'd it, you're now thinking a little bit bigger, and you're now thinking that you're going to have to do a little bit of changes. And I want to invite you again to double that number. So now when you're looking at that number, and now you're going like, possibly going like, all right, this is crazy. This is like, I was stretching it to begin with the first time with the number. I've just 2x'd it and I kind of went, all right, I got it. But to 2x my 2x already, all of a sudden, is it fair to say that you're out of your comfort zone? Is that fair to say? Is that, you know, so it's now all of a sudden you're like, okay, you know what? Now Now the internal dialogue is along the lines of, that's crazy, that's ridiculous, that's not possible, I can't do that. I'm gonna have to give up my entire life to do this, whatever. And what happens is that now you're uncomfortable. So now you've stretched your mind and you're like, oh my goodness, look how big that number is, look how many properties I want to own, whatever it looks like for you. But whatever that goal is now you've expanded your mind. Now you've expanded it to, now you're like, I don't know how to do this, right? I don't know what that looks like. So now when you look back at your original goal, does your original goal look a little bit more realistic? Your original goal, you're like, oh, phew, all right, that fits better. I can handle that one, right? The 4x one, kind of threw me out of my comfort zone. So, and that's the whole thing, is that the mind has to be bigger. The mind's got to think bigger. And with that comes resources, right? And I really invite you, on your own time, is to really look at and go, okay, what do I have right now to reach my goal? What do I already have available to me to reach my goal? Then the second question would be is, what do I still need? And by just looking at those things and going, okay, what 3 things do I already have? What 3 things do I already need? What resources do I already have available to me so that I can get there? And a lot of things is that's where coaching comes into play. That's where a group like this comes into play, is that now what you're doing is that you're around and you're immersing yourself with people that are now thinking outside the box. That if everyone gets to that part of wanting to, times two and then times two, now all of a sudden you're at a different space. Now, when you're having a conversation with someone who's expanded their mind like that, now you're going to think differently. You're not going to be worried so much about, well, who's going to take out the trash on Friday night at the curb so that it doesn't stink on Monday morning when we come back to the office. You're now going to be thinking about how you can now possibly have a share in the company that is picking up the garbage on Monday morning, right? Or Friday night. So all of a sudden you're expanding your knowledge, you're expanding where you want to grow. And real estate is no different. Whether you want to partner up with a company, whether you want to have a whole real estate portfolio, whether you want to buy a multi-million-dollar high rise, a skyscraper, whatever it is that you want to have, is you can have anything you want if you're willing to work hard enough for it. And I'm inviting you to also really explore the fact that sometimes it's not working harder, it's working smarter, right? And smarter means is that I really like to pride myself on one thing, is that I really work hard at not being the smartest person in the room. I really challenge myself to be be around people that I'm not where they are in their portfolio yet, that they're billionaires. I'm not there yet. I want to be into those people that are making the $100 million a year. I want to be in those rooms. I want to hear something. And I just had a great weekend where I got trained by Mike Holmes and Michelle Romano. And if you don't know them, I mean, she's on Shark Tank, and Mike Holmes is all over the place as far as, #1 contractor. So, and I've had experiences with Barbara Corcoran in the room. And I also experienced Kevin O'Leary on the weekend. And when you're around people that just vibe at a different frequency, all of a sudden you kind of look at your problems become small. And one of my mentors along the way said to me, if you're stressed out about this problem and you don't have a solution, go get a bigger problem. And I remember hearing that and going like, who in their right mind goes and gets a bigger problem when they can't solve the little one that they've got going on right now. And there's something about evolving your brain. There's something about reaching out higher. And when we're reaching higher, now all of a sudden it changes. It changes the game. And the other thing that I really want to touch on today as well is your reason why. So now you've written on this piece of paper, you've taken notes, you've put it on your phone, you've put it on your dream board, whatever method you're using, is that now that you've 4x that number and you see this great big number, is why do you want it? Wanting the money is not going to get you out of bed. I don't know about everybody that's going to be listening to this call. I just know that money isn't the reason why I get out of bed every day. It's not money. Money is an energy. Money is a tool. And that's what Kevin O'Leary said, at the weekend, is money, money is just, it's just paper or it's a coin. It's what we're going to do with that. What are we going to do with that money? Whose lives are we going to impact? How many jobs are we going to provide on our journey as entrepreneurs? Because that's the thing, is not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to be self-employed, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a matter of the people that actually want to have jobs and they want to have security and they want to just do 9 to 5. They want to go home and they're content. They're beautiful people for it. And the thing is that by us going out and we want to become entrepreneurs and we want to own businesses or we want to own skyscrapers, is that we're also hiring people. We're going to hire people to get these jobs done. If we're going to do a new build, or we're going to build a bridge, or we're going to build a tunnel, if we're going to go out and build cars, whatever it is that employees play a vital part of that. So as an entrepreneur, we have an obligation to go and do that 4x amount, whatever that was, whether it's $40,000 a month, whether it's $400,000 a month, whether it's $4 billion a month. We have an obligation to go out and help other entrepreneurs. That's why we created this tribe. We have an obligation to help other like-minded people that want more, that want more out of their lives, that they want more for their family, they want more for the people around them, creating jobs. That's a beautiful thing. Creating safe environments for people to live. At the end of the day, no one's getting out alive. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate, I hate it if you didn't know that, but the reality of it is we're not getting out alive and we can't bring it with us. What we can do is that we can leave a legacy. And how are people going to remember us? Are they going to remember us as, well, my mom or my dad or my aunt or my uncle or my grandparents were broke and they struggled. And guess what? I'm broke and I struggle. Or is it going to be where we're going to leaving a legacy where, in 100 years from now, that someone's going to turn around and say, hey, you know what? Because of what she did, because of what they did, because of what he did, now I don't have to struggle as much. My education is paid for. My hospital bills are paid for. My wants are paid for. I can experience different parts of the world. I can go visit countries. Because of that, I don't have to worry about working so hard. Imagine what it's like to offer that to someone long after you're gone. And some of us, because we're young, like I started my entrepreneur journey when I was 21 years old. And I wanted more. I wanted to be in a position where I wouldn't have to work for someone else, that I could take care of my parents, that I could one day, I seen how my parents struggled. I seen how my parents, they both worked in factories. They worked hard every day. They worked different shifts. They couldn't see each other often. Otherwise, I would never seen either one, or I'd be at a babysitter. And I seen the way that their integrity was, and they still had to work every day, and they didn't miss work. They were at work every day. It didn't matter what was going on. If my dad had to work midnight, so be it. He did whatever he could for his family. but I also knew that there was taxing on a relationship. It was taxing on my relationship with them. You know, they weren't in the best moods all the time. And I just remember growing up thinking like there's got to be something different, and we couldn't wait to go on vacation, but yet my dad would say, "Well, I can't be gone that long. I have to go back to work." When I was 12 years old and I broke my arm and my dad couldn't come and be at the hospital because he was out of job. These are the things that entrepreneurship changes. These are the things that we put systems and teams in place. This is what this tribe is all about, is helping you build a team, helping you build a system, putting it in place through getting proper guidance, through proper coaching, is that as you grow out your portfolio, as you grow to whatever it is that you want to do, even if it's not real estate, whatever it is that you want to do. I use real estate as a vehicle. You can choose whatever vehicle you want. The thing is by having the system in place, the proper resources in place, the proper teams in place, that you don't have to miss another event that you want to attend. You don't have to miss church. You don't have to miss a baseball game. You don't have to miss a hockey game. You don't have to miss Christmas. You don't have to miss anything. And more importantly, is people around you don't have to miss it either. You can create a life that is going to give everyone around you freedom. Imagine what it would be like if all of a sudden your church or your nonprofit organization that you're part of, or whatever it is that you want to, a charity. Imagine all of a sudden cutting them a check for $100,000 and saying, you know what, I believe in your cause. And all it is to you is a write-off. All it is to you is that you go and you file, with the IRS or the CRA, and you say write-off, company donation, right? But in someone's world, you just became a hero. Your company, everything that you stand for, everything that you're doing. So it's really looking at what motivates you. And I know for me, like I had a dark time in my life, and I was suicidal, and I didn't want to get out of bed in the morning, and I didn't want to live. And all I know is that when I made the turning point of there's got to be something more in the world, there's got to be more, is that I didn't make it about me. And when I decided to become an entrepreneur at 21, my goal was that I was going to take care of my parents if they needed me to someday. That I was going to be, when I had a child, I was going to make sure that I was going to be there, and I was going to be there for those events, and we could go on vacations. And if my son ever broke his arm, which he did, that I could be there, which I was, right? And those are the moments, those are the things that you cannot put a price tag on those things. Having money gives you choices. Making money gives other people options. Imagine being an employer that's saying to your staff, you know what, instead of you guys working extra hours, we're going to bring in more people. We're going to pay you the same amount, but you're going to work maybe 5 hours a week less. Imagine having a place of business that has a gym built in, or an indoor pool, or a massage for them to have lunch on their lunch breaks, right? Imagine all these things that you could do. So that I don't know about anybody on this call. All I know is I hated working for someone else. Hated it. Like, hated. I don't know if I can say that with capital HATED, but I hated working for someone else. And all I know is that being an entrepreneur, I get to choose who I work with, and I get to create my environment. And imagine being that employer. Imagine if we'll say, I'll focus it on real estate. You own a high-rise building, and yeah, you need a property manager. And yeah, you need a staff on site, you need the caretakers, and you need the guy to cut the grass, and you need, we'll say maybe 10 employees, right, on a high rise. Imagine if they enjoyed going to work every day. Imagine that they were like, you know what? This is the best boss ever. This is the best job I've ever had. Imagine being that boss who now says, when the employee gets a phone call and says, oh my goodness, my child's sick, stay home. It's all good. I got you. It's all right. We've got other people to come in. It's okay. This is what being an entrepreneur, in my opinion, is about. It's about wanting people that are already happy working with me. I can't make you happy. I can't make you want to go to work every day. But you know what? If you have to work and I've got a job for you, then how do we make it so that this can be a win-win? And there's so many employers out there that it's all about them. They're just thinking about their bottom line, get the most out of their employees to pay them the least amount of money. And then what do you have? You have people that hate going to work, and it spreads through with everything. And I just know that for me, using real estate as a tool is that when I have to hire people, is I keep in mind going, okay, what did I hate about my job? Right? I hated that I wasn't appreciated. I hated that I couldn't grow. I hated that if I gave an opinion, it didn't matter. I hated that if I needed a day off, it was like pulling teeth. And and I'm going to be real with you. I work more hours being an entrepreneur, self-employed, than I ever did working for anybody else. And I can also tell you that I do it with a smile on my face. I can tell you that my alarm goes off at 6 o'clock in the morning for no reason, and I bounce out of bed like the house is on fire. And I just know that helping people is all about that. Is that I can't wait to find out, who am I going to bless today? Who am I going to help today? Who am I going to coach today? Who am I going to say one thing that is going to change their trajectory of their life and their financial life and their families' lives? And again, real estate is just a vehicle. Real estate is one of the many, many sources that we can use for that. And a lot of it starts with, you know, having that mindset of why. Like I just know for me that if I say, I want to make $5,000 a month, that's all I need, that covers my bills, then I'm really being selfish. Because if I have a gift, or I have a drive, or I have a talent, or I have a way that I can make 2 times that, $10,000 a month, then what am I doing to help people along the journey? And what about those people who can't do that, who are relying on the income that's going to provide? Because see, if I'm in real estate and I'm building buildings, I'm going to need material. Well, guess what? How many jobs is that? They're going to need people that are stocking the shelves, that are cutting the lumber, that are making the nails, that are, so when you really look at the whole impact that we have. So I know that when I think of just me, I'm okay. 5,000 a month, I'm okay. I'm good. I don't need anything. I'm comfortable. But when I really think about it, when I make it about other people and how I can really impact other people's lives as an entrepreneur, now all of a sudden I made it bigger than me. Now I've made it so that now it's an obligation that I have to bounce out of bed. It's an obligation that I have to be able to pour what I know into these calls, especially. Like, they're very dear to my heart. And I want to be able to serve. And I really invite you to really break down your why of, you know, maybe right now you're at a job and you're listening to me and you're going, this isn't possible. And this is, whatever. And, you know, I promise you, when you start looking at your why of why do you get out of bed in the morning? And if it's for a paycheck right now, I get it. I've had to get out of bed just for a paycheck. I call it support my habit, because there are times in this real estate journey that interest rates jump and you're not expecting them and they go high. And there's a thing called recessions and there's a thing called COVID. And if you've been around the last 5 years, the whole world has experienced COVID. There are things that have gone on beyond my control. I've had to go bankrupt. I've lost everything 4 times. So when you look at it, is things are going to happen. And I've had to go out and support my habit. I've had to go out and get a job. I've had to go out and work for someone. So I get it. And all I'm saying is that if you're in a position right now where you have a job, I really, really invite you to be the best employee that you can possibly be. I invite you to show up early. I invite you to work late. I invite you to, your coworkers around the cooler, if you're standing around the water cooler and everybody's talking negative, don't be one of them. I'm really inviting you to be that person that all of a sudden they go, oh, wow, like, Teresa's here early. Like, why are you here early? Just to get a head start on my day. Because I'm going to tell you something is that number one, they're transferable skills, guys and ladies, everybody on this call. These are transferable skills. Is that as you go and as you navigate life and you be the best employee, you're going to stand out. You're going to stand out to people around you. You're going to stand out to your managers. You're going to be shunned because you're going to be the best employee. I was shunned because I was working at a McDonald's and the manager was upset because he said to me, he's like, why are you, I was there about 4 months and he says, why do you work here? I said, because one day I'm going to have your job, because I couldn't think small. I just wasn't one of those people, right? I wanted to own the place. And I looked at the manager, I said, because I want your job. And I found myself unemployed very shortly after because he literally came out to kibosh me when I said I wanted his job. So all I'm saying is that as you're navigating and you're working for someone else, be the best, shine out. Because I'm going to tell you is that the entrepreneur world, as great as it is, you get a lot of flack for it. People around you judge you. You lose friends. You lose friends along the way. People have said a lot of nasty things like, oh, you're only in it for the money. And it's like, well, don't you go to work for the money? Like, what am I doing wrong? Right. So a lot of people want to tear you down as you're going up and as you're going up the corporate ladder, as you're trying to get to the top. And most people are jealous, people are envious, people are going to talk badly about you. And again, that's why we've got the tribe, is that we're going to hold each other up. We're going to hold each other accountable. We're going to be here for one another. We're going to support one another, because there's going to be days that I know for me, I curled up in that ball in a corner and went, done, got it. Nope, can't do this anymore. I'm just going to go get a job. And I'd quit my job because I remembered why I didn't want to work for someone, is because I was one of those people that I gave it my all. I gave it my all. I was honest. I was loyal. I was hardworking. I was dedicated. I did the more for less. I did all of that. I didn't get paid accordingly. I didn't get any more vacation than anybody else. It didn't matter how much more or how much less that I did. I couldn't get ahead. There was no room for anything. So when we really look at it, is as you're on your way to the top, yeah, is it going to be lonely? It is. And that's why we need to create this community. That's why me and YG needed to create this community together, is because of this, is that we know how lonely it gets. We know how hardworking it gets. And we really want to invite you to, you know, if there's something that you want to hear from us, if there's something you want us to talk about, if there's a subject that you want us to cover, And I really felt today that it was important to say that. And I really want to thank everyone for showing up today and listening to the recording as well. And YG, do you have a few things that you'd like to talk about as well?
I don't know how the echoing is going to be in here, but yeah, we want to create a community where anyone who might have no experience or experienced people could join and find value for themselves. And one of the biggest indicators of success long term is communication. And so having the forums, the different abilities to post, put the questions in and start interacting. And I think as the community grows, the value and how we can support and help each other is going to grow as well. And here on the call also is my partner, Vlad. We're working together now and building things not only in real estate. So we'll also have insights from the side of private equity and securities, and Theresa from real estate. And just regardless of the vehicle that you pursue or what your why is, help support each other and grow this past just an individual. So that's my concise words for today.
Thank you. Thank you, YG. And yeah, and that's the thing is where whatever you're up to, we're here for you. So thank you for your time, everyone, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.